Teachings from Kuthumi's Hands, the Ashram of the King, Part 1. The only true king, the only true benevolent overlord, the only one worthy of the status accorded to the title of king is Sanat Kumara, the great sacrifice, the one initiator, and the eternal youth of endless summers. This Lord of the world holds within his aura all the life in all of the kingdoms of nature, including the human kingdom. Please see who is Sanat Kumara. He is the sole repository of the divine purpose of the planetary logos, the one in whom we live and move and have our being. Sanat Kumara may be considered as the extended incarnate expression of the planetary logos onto the higher etheric planes. The will of God, first ray, as it is worked out in the master plan for this portion of creation, proceeds and is stepped down from one of the 7 stars or 7 great beings in Ursa Major to the logos of Sirius to our solar logos. From there it reaches the planetary logos of Earth, thence to Sanat Kumara, and on to the great council of Shambhala. Just as the energies of the 7 rays are stepped down, modulated, and transformed every step along the way from the threefold Godhead to dense physicality on a planet, the will and purpose of God, as incorporated in the first ray, is brought through those many levels, having been qualified and conditioned by great ones at each level. For purposes of Earth, the central transmitting station is Sanat Kumara, not just for divine purpose but for all the 7 rays. See the 7 rays explained, and the entirety of the spiritual hierarchy for planet Earth is considered the ashram of that one. Shambhala is known as the center, or chakra, where the will of God, first ray, is known. The great council of Shambhala, 6th degree initiates in higher, functions as the head chakra, 7th. The hierarchy, ascended masters and initiates of all degrees, is known as the center where the love of God, 2nd ray, is known and serves as the heart chakra of Sanat Kumara. Humanity is the throat chakra where the 3rd ray energy of active intelligence is brought forth into manifestation. Thus the 3 major aspects of the Godhead, will, love, and intelligence, are represented on this planet by Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity respectively, and the entirety of the all-encompassing ashram of Sanat Kumara is devoted to bringing into manifestation and actualizing the plan of our planetary logos and, consequently, Sanat Kumara. That evolutionary plan, which is increasingly revealed to the advancing initiate as the initiate path is traversed, originates in the mind of God and is projected to the galactic being of this Milky Way galaxy by means of the first ray force called purpose or will. The galactic logos is the one who has spread itself out upon the vastness of space in the form of this enormous lenticular-shaped galaxy for the sake of sentient life evolution. The Mayans knew it as Hunabku, and occult literature uses the term, Great Central Sun of the Galaxy. The Galactic Council of 12 are its extended expressions, and the divine purpose is brought through them before reaching this sector of the galaxy. In our modern times on this planet, the ashram of Sanat Kumara has come to be composed of 49 ashrams of the hierarchy. The number 7 is reflected at all levels of existence in this septenary universe. Take a look at a septenary universe. There are 7 major ashrams, or departments, each one having a Chohan or lord of one of the 7 rays as its head and heart flame. Each one of the major ashrams expresses the qualities of one of the 7 rays and serves as a focal point and transmitting agent for those qualified energies. All of the major ashrams have 6 subsidiary ashrams each, making a total of 42. Those are headed by an ascended master, 5th initiate level, or high initiate working in conjunction with the Chohan for the furtherance of the plan. All of the 49 ashrams are unity in their devotion to the purpose of the planetary logos, but the 7 major ashrams along each one of the 7 ray lines carry out their own unique aspect of the overall plan for this planet in alignment with the type of energies with which they specialize. For example, the 2nd ray is known as the teaching ray and utilizes the energy of love, ultimately coming from God as divine or universal love, the glue or attractive force of the universe. The Buddha and the Christ, previously Maitreya, now Kuthumi, are along this line. Members of this ashram incarnate to walk amongst humanity and advance consciousness through teaching which may be considered spiritual and religious and oriented toward the establishing of right relations between individuals and groups of humankind as well as between the human and subhuman kingdoms of Earth. These teachings of the second ray initiates are all colored by love because of the energy that they personify when incarnate and successfully following the telepathic promptings of their master. For other ashrams and other rays, the approach and the emphasis will be different, though the goal will always be the same for all of them. The goal is put forth by Sanat Kumara. Admittance into the hierarchy and the great ashram necessitates taking the first initiation, the birth and the beginning realization of group consciousness and the forsaking of the separative self-oriented personality. Prior to the successful passage of the threshold of initiation, the probationer and later the disciple is given instruction at night in one or other of the ashrams on the astral planes by an initiate designated by the master, but does not gain entrance into the aura of the master or the ring pass not of the ashram. And I should go on to say that the requirements for initiation are ever getting more stringent, more difficult of attainment, the more that humanity advances in developing the mind. The initiates of today are far superior in caliber and capability than those of an earlier era. See the only path on earth. After Sanat Kumara and the Lords of the Flame came to earth 18 million years ago, when animal man had only the germ of a mind though the makings of a coordinated physical body, the hierarchy became composed of advanced beings from elsewhere as invoked by Sanat Kumara. None had come out of Earth's evolution, and the higher council of what became Shambhala was made up of light beings from Venus, devotees of Sanat Kumara. Millions of years ago and long before the path of initiation was inaugurated by Sanat Kumara, these beings from hierarchy would incarnate in the usual way to bring stimulation to the development of the infant mind of early man. Always they were the vanguard and wayshowers for the primitive versions of Homo sapiens as existed then. The Lemurian race, third root race, on the motherland of Mu in the Pacific Ocean was really the first race of what we can consider as mankind, with the perfecting of a strong, durable, coordinated physical form being the goal of the race. Mental activity was very limited, indeed. All of the energies of hierarchy were directed toward that accomplishment, and the Mano of the first ray department or ashram served as the prototype as with all subsequent races and sub-races of humanity. The Mano manipulated the forces and energies, especially the destructive power of the first ray, over the passage of eons of time in order to effect the perfecting of form so desired in this evolutionary scheme. With the fourth root race, the Atlantean, came the planned goal of developing and then perfecting the emotional body, astral body, now that the physical form had reached the ideal as envisioned by Sanat Kumara. Again, this took place over eons of time and progressed through the 7 sub-races of the fourth root race and incorporated the sub-sub-races as with all the major advancements of the race of man. The astral body of man was so strongly energized and so perfected that it remains to this day the most dominant of the divisions of the threefold personality. The vast majority of humankind are still polarized in the desires, sensations, emotions, illusions, and glamours of the astral body to the detriment of further progress. As on Mu, the great ones of hierarchy incarnated on Atlantis over the eons and were the divine kings and enlightened rulers who guided the way toward more and more advanced cultures and civilizations. They were the inspiration for the advancements in all areas of science because the Atlantean mind was still not a sophisticated instrument, as the evolutionary focus was on the astral form. It was toward the middle of the Atlantean period that Sanat Kumara made a decision to introduce the path of initiation to humanity because higher members of his ashram were being called to other duties in the solar system due to a crisis then developing, and he wanted to create a means whereby members of Earth's own life stream could enter the lower echelons of hierarchy to fill places that were being vacated. It became part of the plan to train and discipline humanity to advance themselves by way of the initiate path and to become working members of the hierarchy, adding their weight and numbers and energies to the purpose which all the brotherhood served in reaching back to pull along the lesser advanced of the race. The first 2 initiations, birth and baptism, were all that could be offered to the most advanced of humanity for hundreds of thousands of years because the mind took so long to develop and because of the necessity for some certain degree of mental polarization, habitual focus of attention, for soul contact and soul influence on the developing, nearly integrated personality. The third initiation, transfiguration, necessitated a highly developed lower, concrete mind, total disciplinary oversight over that mind, and the makings of soul dominance over the personality through the Antakarana channel of light built to the soul in meditation. Many were called but few could be chosen. The first such initiate on Atlantis, who could be so chosen for the Transfiguration initiation and for the first time ever on this planet, was the one we have come to know as Lord Maitreya, Maitreya meaning joy-filled one. He was the first one out of Earth's humanity to reach such a level. Other higher members of hierarchy had come from elsewhere, including the one we call the Buddha, Lord Amitabha. The Hierophant for the first Transfiguration initiation on Earth was the one initiator himself. Previously, for the first two initiations, the Hierophant was always the world teacher of the time, as is still the case today. Maitreya and Amitabha Buddha took initiation together and opened the door for the rest of plotting mankind to reach a higher level than heretofore. It was a critical juncture for the race, and Sanat Kumara. Both went on to become world teachers on the second ray line of development in the second ray ashram, of love/wisdom. When Amitabha held the office he fully overshadowed Siddhartha Gautama, and when Maitreya held it he fully overshadowed Jesus from the Jordan baptism to the crucifixion, being called the Christos by the Greek initiates. There are 3 high offices and 3 great lords in the hierarchy today who fill them, and the offices are aligned with and utilize the energies of the 3 major aspects of the Godhead: first, the Manu; second, the Bodhisattva; third, the Mahachohan. Maitreya is called the Master of the Masters and coordinates the divine plan for planet Earth along with the Manu and the Mahachohan. The responsibilities of the greater ashram have been delegated to Maitreya by Sanat Kumara. An overview of the White Lodge today may be seen by clicking on Who are the spiritual hierarchy. All of the Lords of the Flame from Venus and the original members of Earth's hierarchy from elsewhere are gone now. The entirety of its members are composed of initiates who have come from Earth's own evolution. There are 63 ascended masters associated with the human kingdom, and we know only a few of them by name. Other masters work with the other kingdoms: mineral, plant, animal, and deva. The ashram's hierarchy is ever evolving, ever dynamic, and never static. When Jwal Khul taught through Alice Bailey, Maitreya was the world teacher, but now Kuthumi has moved into the position, having taken the 6th initiation. Back then Serapis Bey was the Chohan of the 4th Ray Ashram. Master Paul the Venetian has advanced from being Chohan of the 3rd Ray to a higher status, and Serapis Bey has moved into the 3rd Ray position. Rays 4 to 7 are all subsidiary to the 3rd Ray. Are you in need of the healing energies of the Ascended Master Kuthumi? Visit KuthumiHands.com.